Hello, everyone. This is the fourth chapter of the book, The World According to Anna by Jostein Gaarder. Blue light. Anna was woken from her dream by sirens. She squinted through sleepy eyes and saw blue lights flash through her room. But she didn't want to be woken up. She must be woken up. Her dream was important, and she had to go back and sort something out. This wasn't the first time she had been woken up by a siren. A few weeks earlier, Jonas had stayed over in the cushion room, so called because the sofa was heaped with cushions. Old Aunt Sineva had embroidered them with the scenes from fairy tales. When Anna was very small, her parents would tell her stories, and later she would imagine herself as the tiny embroidered figures, acting out their tales and living their lives. But when Jonas had slept over, the household was woken in the middle of the night by howling sirens. The vehicles hadn't just sped by. They had stopped in the road below. Anna and Jonas hadn't needed to wake each other up. They had almost collided on the landing. Seconds later, Anna's mom and dad had charged down the stairs after them. More vehicles arrived from both sides of the valley. Police cars, ambulances, and fire engines. In the bright blue flashes of light, they glimpsed the outline of a tanker that had overturned on the slippery road. They were stopped from getting any closer by the police, who had started cordoning the area off. Later, they heard that there had been a terrible risk of explosion and fire because the overturned tanker had been carrying thousands of liters of petrol. When the police officer screamed at them, "Go back! Turn around, for Christ's sakes!" the fire crew had already been laying a foam blanket. Anna, Jonas, and her parents turned around and shuffled back. At first, they stood in the garden watching the drama unfold. Then Anna sat in the kitchen with Jonas and listened to the radio while her mom made hot chocolate and her dad sat in front of the fire smoking his pipe. But this time, Anna didn't allow herself to be fully woken by the sirens. She was in another world, and she was on a mission. Great-grandmother. There is a knock at the door. Then a figure appears to drift into the room. Nova turns around and sees it is Nana. She's wearing a blue kimono. Nova sits down on the edge of her bed and looks up at the old lady. She recognizes her, of course, but she also senses something mysterious, something foreign. Nana's face is small and wrinkled. It is Nana's birthday today. She's 86 years old. But something is different about her, distorted. A shiver passes through Nova. It looks as though every breath could be Nana's last. She's wearing the ruby ring. Nova knows that there is a connection between this ring and the sense that Nana's time is running out. Nana arrives in the room like a messenger from another time. She places two lined fingers on the red jewel. Then she says, "You're thinking about the ruby, aren't you, Nova?" Nova nods. It is as though Nana can read Nova's mind. The old lady fetches a wooden chair from the desk and sits down in front of her. "Today I'm going to tell you about the birds that lived in the mountains back in my day. I can still hear the plaintive whistle of the golden plover." Nova squirms. Does she really want to hear this? Can she be bothered to listen to the ancient woman anymore? "You don't need to tell me anything," Nova says. She's filled with bitterness. "All I want to know is how to get the birds back." She glances up at Nana. The old lady has a look of deep sorrow on her face. Or remorse. Perhaps it is remorse. But Nova shows her no mercy. "I want monkeys, lions, and tigers too. I want them all back." "Why can't you understand? I want bears and wolves in Norway. And that funny sea parrot. What's it called? The puffin and the curlew. Don't forget about the curlew. I want bearberries and alpine speedwell and glacier buttercups and dwarf willow. Did you know that the dwarf willow was a bush even though it didn't grow more than 5 centimeters high? Or was it you who told me that? The old lady's shoulders twitched. But Nova, do you know what I want? Shall I tell you? I want 1,000,000 plants and animals to come back from extinction. No more, no less, Nana. I want to drink clean water straight from the tap. I want to go fishing in the river. And I want this clammy winter weather to end. Nova, please, Nova. I'm just saying I want the world that you had at my age. And do you know why? Because you owe me that. Nova, stop it. Or would you rather I sent you off into the forest? Give me back my world. Give me flocks of reindeer or Hardanger Plateau in Jotunheimen and in Rodan. If you can do as I say, you might as well leave now. But Nova, do you know what else I wish? I wish everything on this planet could be given a second chance. Just imagine if that wasn't asking too much. It could be like in those shooting contests. If you miss the first time, you get to go again. I just think you should give me back the world. Wouldn't that be a turn up for the books? If people didn't cry over spilled milk, if they stopped wallowing and made amends instead. Just be a nice, sweet Nana and give me back all the animals and plants. Then we can talk about birdsong. For a very short moment she glances at Nana's eyes. They are quivering. They are frightened and sad. But Nova continues. What am I babbling on about? I'm talking rubbish? It's impossible to change anything. We can't go back. Isn't that right, Nana? Or are you going to tell me there's a genie of the lamp that can help us? Nana struggles to sit upright in the chair. She looks afraid, as though her great-grandchild might strike her at any moment, with a clenched fist hard. But the old lady says, Yes, my dear Nova, that's the sort of thing I would have said. What? The old lady caresses the mysterious ruby. She looks dreamily at her great-grandchild. Perhaps the world can have another chance. Little old Nana, what is she burbling on about now? But she says it in such an enticing way that Nova is carried along. What do you mean? She whispers. A miracle. There is a glint in Nana's eye. She nods firmly, then smiles. They are friends now. Nana was 16 once too. Who hasn't been? But what can they do? She looks at the blood-red walls and up to Nana in her blue kimono. Perhaps we can shout back through time and tell the people who lived before us to show a bit of consideration. We just have to make sure we shout loudly enough for them to hear. The old lady shakes her head. That's impossible, but I think I know another way. Go on. Is it something supernatural? I don't know, my child. Perhaps it's the most natural thing in the world. A smile spreads across Nova's face. I think I understand, she says. You're going to try to make contact with the people who lived on Earth before us so you can warn them. You're going to show them what the future will look like if they don't stop exploiting nature. Come on, Anna. Is that what you're going to do? The old lady nods mysteriously, but then Nova thinks about this more. The pivots off the bed and peers through the narrow floor-to-ceiling window down on the road. The camels are still there with a small cluster of people, It's impossible, she sighs. Nature is so damaged. We've passed the point of no return. Are you absolutely sure? Nana's smile is bewitching. Again, she's playing with the ruby. Is it something to do with the ruby? Nova asks sweet, kind Nana. Will that stone give us back our reindeer? Nana nods again, and her great-grandchild laughs. That's what I thought, Nova says. I've always known there was something magical about that old gem. Nova wonders what else she can ask for. Can I have the eagle all back too? Just a couple of them, please. And otters and checkered blue butterflies. There is no stopping Nova now. She thinks quickly, so quickly she gets dizzy. It is a wonderful moment. At any second, an avalanche of wishes might be fulfilled, like when a shower of shooting stars bursts across the night sky. But who can think as quickly as stars can fall? She braces herself. Can I bring back 1,000,000 species of plants and animals? Yes, you can, my dear. And their habitats too? There's no use saving the animals 2 by 2. Plants and animals must have something to live off. They have to thrive, so the rainforest must be restored. The acidification of the sea must be reserved. The mountain temperature must be brought down a few degrees, and the African savanna must be watered. But you know, this because you're not daft. You really aren't. Oh, to think this is even impossible. Nana grasps at the red ring. Then she speaks in a sullen voice. She sounds almost like a sorcerer. Soon you shall have the earth back the way it was when I was your age, but you must promise me you will look after it. For this is our very last chance. From now on, we should always be on our guard. There will be no more chances. There was something odd about the sound of Nana's words. It was as though they were being swallowed by a deep cellar or coughed up from a great cave. But she wasn't finished, and so we shall meet again in 70 years' time. Then it will be you who is called to account. Nova is overwhelmed. This feels like the world's greatest conjuring trick. The room begins to sway, and when Nana smiles, she looks like a child. She looks far too childlike for a woman for her age. She leans her head back against the old chair. It is as though she has lain down to die. Then she starts singing a gruffy voice. It sounds as if she is chanting at a witch's sabbath. All your birds, be you so frail, come back as once before. Tern and cuckoo, thrush and quail, cheer up forevermore. Larks rejoice up in the sky, thrilling a new spring on high. Frost and snow they had too high. We have sunshine and light.